Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Wastelands 2 Director's Cut. As we are in Darwin's village, we fought our way through last episode. It was a rather longer episode than I'd planned, but we managed to carve our way through a massive horde of zombies, because that's just what you needed in a nuclear apocalypse, of zombies. And just gonna quickly sort everything out. Right. Need to go into the town. Picked up some bits and pieces that we'll probably sell off for scrap. I was also going to check out how many skill points he has. 3. Right. I'm going to have to put his brawling up, just because I actually need him to be slightly more competent at it than he is. Right, there we go. Let's just see how bad it is, how terrible inside it is. What's the sign? Very sturdy garage door. I don't know the code. How are we supposed to get in? You're supposed to hack it? Okay, that's gonna be fun. I take it we can't just... No, we can't just do that either, okay. Logbook. Find a way. Help. Right, gives us access to Darwin's village. Found Darwin's village and made our way into the ruins, where groups of crazy mutants wandering the area, and they do not seem friendly. I want to try something. How do you get to... Because I'm trying to figure out how exactly we get the letters. Because I know for a fact that in the previous game there was a code called Rosebud. I'm wondering how it might be that, so it might be... The problem is it's not letting me just doing numbers, is it? Okay. Nah. I don't know how we're supposed to get in there. I suspect we may need a code, because we can't obviously can't. Can we hack it? Impossible to hack. Okay. Can we blow it up? Don't know if you can blow it up or not. I doubt we'd be able to. How on earth... Is it in the Memoirs? I know I had Memoirs lying around. Who had the Memoirs? Memoirs of my time in the Rangers. General S. Vergas, Introduction. Ranger Samak has asked me to write down my memoirs of how I joined the Rangers and it was like fighting our battles against the robots based called Chiefs. Can't say I see the point, but he's already got all the details written down in his official history. What do I need to rehash a story I've already told 100 times before? I have to admit, though, there are some things history books don't tell you, little things in between the big things. Back to where the real life happens, not a damn history book. Alright, Samak. You talked me into it, here it goes. Chapter 1, Hometown Hero. This may surprise some folks, I suppose, but not all the Rangers are the descendants of the original Rangers. In fact, there's less and less hereditary Rangers every year. For instance, I grew up in a little town not too far south of the old Ranger centre. It was mostly Hispanic community, all farmers and sheep herders, and so isolated from the rest of the Waste that I didn't hear English spoken until I was 10. I was a golden boy back home, not for the gun skills I've since grown famous for, I didn't have those yet, but for my talent as a medic, which I learnt at my mother's knee. She being the only doctor in town, I learnt a heck of a lot more about patching up bullet wounds once I joined the Rangers, but even back then I knew enough meatball surgery that I was always picked to come along on scavenger and hunting trips in case of accident or attack. For a long time my little town was a pretty peaceful little place, but then one day a band of raiders found us and decided that what was ours should be theirs. They surrounded us and demanded we give them every last bit of our salvage and our livestock and our children. When we refused, they came in, guns blazing. Our people were cut down like tall grass, and I was planning to die bravely with the rest. My mother, however, had other plans and chewed me out royally, saying that staying and dying was selfishly heroism, when we could save lives by rescuing others and leaving. So we gathered as many kids as we could find and escaped with them and a few other adults. It felt strange to be running, like cowardice, but if we stayed and fought, we would have died and those kids would have become slaves, so I did my best not to feel guilty. But the guilt hit hard once we got those kids to the next town and my mother died. Turned out she'd been hiding a gunshot wound the whole time. I think I must have been gone crazy with rage after that. The problem was I didn't know who I was mad at, my mother for hiding the wound, myself for not seeing that she was hurt, the kids we rescued for slowing us down, or the raiders who'd shot her in the first place. In the end, I decided that the raiders would be the easiest to take friends on, so I set out with some of the other survivors to hunt them down. It was while me and old Joe, Thomas, Pops and Susie were tracking those raiders down that I acquired my old nickname Snake. I could tell you now, but I won't. A man's got to have some secrets, particularly when the history isn't as interesting as the name. Anyway, we didn't stay together very long after we found the raiders and blew them all to the Kingdom Come. There just hadn't been much of anything keeping us together except our fixation on revenge, and when that went away, we each went our separate ways. Me, I drifted for a while, thinking I'd do one thing, then thinking I'd do another, but it ignored at me that my revenge on those raiders hadn't given me satisfaction. My town was still gone, my mother was still dead, and I had still lost, and I decided in my youthful naivety that maybe I needed to do was kill more raiders, and the best way I knew to do that was become a desert ranger. I walked up to the ranger centre not knowing what to expect. It wasn't exactly an inviting looking place, which figures what with its being a past prison all, but the rangers were friendly enough and I soon learned it wasn't too hard to become a desert ranger. If you could shoot, understand orders and follow them, that was good enough. And if you could patch up wounds or drive a jeep or work a radio, even better. You got your circle star badge and your hat right there on the spot, no questions asked. And if you later turned out to be an untrustworthy son of a bitch who was using the star and just arranged the name for his own personal gain, why, they just shot you and that was that. Pretty much the same system we have today, now that I come to think of it. Anyway, like I said, they welcomed me with my open arms, partly because I was a good medic and a good shot, and partly because I was pretty short-handed at the time. That hasn't changed much either, has it? I guess it never does. Since the end of the world, the bad guys have always outnumbered the good, and there's never a lack of wrong for us to right. Training was mostly learning how to shoot people rather than how to deal with conflicts in a peaceful manner. We didn't even learn a code of ethics to abide by. Hopefully that's changed now. Don't get me wrong, a bullet is often still the best answer to a problem, but it should always be the last as well. I met my future squad mates pretty early in the training program, each with a sillier name than the last. Angelina Death, Hellraiser and Thrasher. Honestly, we didn't get along that well at first. I found Angelina's brass manner and constant joking grating. Thrasher just seemed like an angry, ordinary bull, and Hellraiser didn't seem to have any self-control at all in combat or out. I didn't know if we could stick together at all if not for Sergeant Delton, who recognised early on well our skills meshed together. My tactics and marksmanship combined with Thrasher's toughness and brute strength, Angelina's uncanny ability to smash past locks as well as hold her own in any fight, and Hellraiser's berserker combat style and desert survivor skills made us into an unstoppable fighting unit. And it was that recognition that we fit together so well that I think eventually made us friends as well as squad mates. I think Delton to this day, I thank Devon to stay for forcing us to stay together through the rough patches at the beginning. I wish he'd lived long enough to see what we made of ourselves now. Sadly, he died on patrol, leading another band of new recruits just before I made captain. Damn shame. For a while, the four of us just lived the daily grind of desert rangers, scouting and foraging missions, patrolling our territory and checking in on towns and farms under protection. But then, way before we were ready, something serious came along. It started as just another patrol, making the rounds in High Pool and Ag Centre. What followed was the making of us foe. There were several times along the way we could have been the breaking of us too, but like I said, it's not telling that story. You can read about that in Simic's history book. Instead, I tell you about what happened after. Right. I don't know how we're supposed to get this. There's something here. Right. I'm just worried that I've basically missed something and I can't get the door open because of it. Or maybe we're not supposed to come back here just yet. That's that gate we can't open. Thing is, I don't have the code. I don't know where we're supposed to find the code either, which doesn't help. I thought it might be in the journal, but I don't think it is. I mean, in all honesty, if it's just that I haven't got to the part of the main story yet where the code comes up, that would be really useful to know, rather than it's just like my incompetence and I've missed something, because if I have, I'm going to be really disappointed. I can't get into the door without a code. I don't want to cheat and basically look online to how to get the code, because that feels wrong to me. So, let's go back out into the Wasteland. Right, there's a lot of radiation.
Baker 1 to Citadel Base, come in.
Baker 1, I can barely read you. What's the situation?
Caught a break. Citizens saw Esteban Negro in the bar down here in Moore. We're gonna take him.
Careful, Baker 1. That hombre has taken out entire patrols all by himself.
Copy, Citadel Base. Don't worry. We gotta...
Baker 1, come in, Baker 1. I lost you. Baker 1, do you read me? Ah, hell.
What's going on with the radio? Nah, run from it. Run from it. I don't know if I've got the right... The problem is I want to go to Darwin's Village, but I don't have the access code, which I can't use to get in. I might have to go back and get the access code off someone, which is gonna suck. We have to go through radiation as well. Level 3 radiation at that, which sucks. I'm just going to basically run for now because I want to try and keep my ammunition in check. Because we also need to check out on... run. There's so many of them, we'd waste loads of ammo and not get that much out of it. Let's just stick our head over here and see what's over in this direction. Ooh. Untapped cash. Let's loot it. steel plate armor, a lot of scrap, and an RPG. They're very nice. We still get weird stuff coming over the radio. I mean, if someone could tell me, like, I don't want to know the code, because obviously that breaks the immersion in the game and the challenge for me. But if you guys could tell me, is it like a story thing, I just haven't found it yet? Ooh, really nice. Really nice. That's a nice gun as well. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone who can use it. Basic trauma kit. The problem is, I don't know how to get in there, and I don't want to waste time trying to, like, just sort of going around complaining that I can't get into somewhere. So, if you guys could just tell me how, like, don't tell me the code, but is it literally, is it just like a story element? I just haven't found the password yet. I suppose we could go back and talk to him and tell him about the mutants. Maybe we could have, he would have the passcode, he could tell us. That radiation is picking up. Oasis. Do another hidden cache. What the? Extraterrestrial gaming cartridges. Oh, is this the... This is what... I know what this is. This is the, He's massively overweight, isn't he? Yeah. This is the stupid, who would bury all these perfectly good gaming cartridges? This is the E.T. game. Basically, back in, I can't remember when it was, in the 80s, or I think it was the 80s or the 70s, no, it was in the 80s sometime. One of the main there was a game company put out a E.T. game, but it was a massive flop, and so they basically dumped all the copies in the desert. Interestingly enough, recently, they actually dug them up for posterity. They dug up a whole load. They dug up the place where it was buried, and it was full of all kinds of other games from the company, I believe, who went bankrupt. And there was still a number of them that were still working, because obviously there's actual... I need to get rid of this stuff. Flag is junk. Because there's actually a real hunger for early technology, especially for like reward purposes. So if you guys ever have like an old gaming console that's lying around, or like a really old PC, it can actually be worth money to you. Well, let's put that on. Have a wee change in attire. Is this the same kind of hat, methinks? We shall check it out. Can she wear that hat? Let's see. Yes, let's give them poncho. Let's give them amigo hats. They're sombreros, aren't they? Yes, indeed they are. Let's give them all sombreros. But as I was saying, they buried them in the desert. All these games they buried in the desert, and they dug them up recently because a number of like museums and universities and stuff wanted to have copies of this game because they're really, really rare.
Чебурашка вызывает Шипокляк. Шипокляк, ответьте.
Шипокляк на связи. Слушаю вас, Чебурашка.
Я только что встретил Реда Быховски. Он не согласился продать мне радиационные костюмы. Прием.
Поняла вас, Чебурашка. Я попытаюсь связаться с его братом Риком и приобрести радиационные костюмы у него. Прием.
Прекрасно. Пожалуйста,
Getting all the really weird chatter at the moment.
Я не хочу, чтобы рейнджеры узнали о том, что мы делаем раньше, чем мы прибудем домой.
Where's this? Mysterious shrine? A relic of a bygone age. Okay.
Вас поняла. Конец связи.
Do you want to enter the mysterious shrine? Confirmed. Right, first things first. Since this actually may be a combat scenario, I need to drop... How do we drop junk? There we go.
Baker 1 to Citadel Base.
Baker 1, you're back. Everything all right? Did you take Esteban Negro?
Yep, no problem. Bought him drinks till he fell over.
Good job. Any casualties?
Well, we're all fine now, but
But what?
tomorrow morning's gonna be a bit.
Well, at least you got the collar, Baker 1. Citadel Base out.
The problem is now I'm nervous that the Rangers have got to have been infiltrated by robots, because obviously if things are going dark, and we know there's basically like body snatchers. Ooh, what's that? Ooh, that's really nice. Computer science, charm. Ooh, that's really good. We give that to a tech expert. He has that. She has that. Give that for him to carry. So what's he currently running around the moment with? He's running around with the sniper's thing, isn't it? Plus range for hit chance. That's nice. What I might do, I'll keep this on him, and let's let me check something. And when we actually need to use it, he can put it on. Nobody can wear the heavy armor yet. That's a really nice thing for him to have, because it will put up his computer science by an extra pop, which is useful. Okay, what's this? Mysterious shrine. Don't tell me that I've dropped the game and we actually need the game for this. I'll go back and grab one of them, just in case we need the game cartridge for this. I wouldn't put it past them. Okay, give him one. Sombreros. Probably is a better thing to wear in this environment, isn't it? A sombrero actually protects your... It's a very useful headwear to wear in hot daylight, in hot suns. Pedestal of this shrine has engraved which the pedestal in this shrine has engraving which boldly describes Vectrix, preferable to its predecessor, superior to its successor. Use? You've already been inspired by this shrine. Oh, okay. So, is there anything else? Is it basically like... I know it's supposed to be like one of the early game consoles. So we got a whole load of...
Copy, Echo 1. Echo 1, congratulations.
Right, level them up. He's got one perk, right. So what do we need actually? I'd probably want to put points into anything else before I decide to give him... Obliterate would be nice, mechanical repair would be nice, demolitions would be nice. What do we need? Mechanical repair probably. Because then he's very useful in that, so perks. Base armor, constitution, hit the deck, hoarder, improvised explosives, junk diver, powder packer would be nice. Precise hunter, minus 50% chance of friendly fire when using shotguns. Probably precise hunter would be nice because shotguns are basically spread weapons, and it can get a bit 15 maximum weapon, maximum range of throwing. No, sorry. Yeah, precise hands would probably be better because I don't want to actually clip my guys with my own weapon. Especially when they're basically a template. They're like a cone weapon. She's got 7 points, so we can go put her sniping up all that way would be really useful. Animal whispering may be nice. Perception probably is worth it. Because perception allows us to spot stuff, which would be nice. So let's go with that, and we'll save the rest of her points. Because I think, yeah, you would need to have like 6 points. 1 perk. Camel, -10 water consumption on world map stack with multiple squad members. Explorer, plus 50% vision range on world map applies to caches and mysterious rides. That looks really useful actually. I can see a whole host of other ones, but that one is really useful. So let's grab that one because that will extend our range. It means we probably have the better chance of finding really cool stuff. Right, let's see what he gets out of this. Not really useful. Combat speed, evasion, combat initiative. Maximum carrying capacity, critical hit damage. Awareness, risen range, evade, and combat initiative. Coordination, 1 action point, +1 chance to hit with a ranger weapon. Oh, I'm trying to remember the combination that people told me. It's, what is it? It's coordination. Is it strength, coordination, and intelligence, or is it speed, strength, and coordination? I don't want to pause the game to look up the comments. Someone told me it's basically your average action speed is the combination of these 3. It's like there's 3 of them and it's combined and divided by something. Because he's got AP of 7, so it would be. Is it like divided by 2 and rounded down? I can't remember. He doesn't need he doesn't need intelligence, I don't think. +1 action point, perhaps. But that's mostly for range, and he's melee, so it seems a bit wasteful. I might go for strength, increases carrying capacity, a +1% critical hit damage with melee weapons, and +3 constitution. Or speed. Speed doesn't seem. Initiative, combat initiative. He's already at 11, so he goes quite soon in the orders of stuff. What is evasion like? 2.2. Oh, it's 5. So it's 9% at the moment, and if we do that 0.5, I'm really tempted just to go with combat to go to strength 5 with him because he's basically a melee brawler. I think this is the right thing to do. Probably isn't, and I'll probably get shouted at. I can never remember the actual mechanics for it though. Right, I need to hold off. I need to hold his point because I need to basically get Weaponsmith 4 for him. And with his perks, base armor, hit the deck, hoarder. So what's the one? That's Tinkerer he gets. So that's the perk. 1 action point when wearing light armor. Actually, that's probably useful for him. So we'll get Tinkerer. Because it means he's wearing light armor and it gives him an extra AP point. Action point. So he's a bit more useful to me. And then we have the Drunkard. Does he get a perk? No. Okay. He can't do anything. His shotgun is okay at the moment. I might switch him up for something better. So I might just get kiss ass, because I need to have someone who can actually do the kiss ass thing rather than not do it. It would have been helpful if I'd known that sooner, but it's probably best to have someone. If I'm being honest, I'd probably, if I was going to do this again, I'd probably have one person each handle a particular dialogue option. So one person would be a hard ass, one person would be a kiss ass, one person would be a smooth ass, and so it would basically probably be the best way of doing it. But we're almost out. Actually, we've got 10 minutes left, so we go back into the Wasteland. So how's our water looking? I'm having to be
Charlie
careful.
1 calling Citadel Base. Come in.
Go ahead, Charlie 1.
Got some meth dealers doing business out at Red Leg. Should we take them?
Hang back, Charlie 1. See if you can follow him to the source. And call me before you make a move.
Copy, Citadel Base. Hanging back. Charlie 1 out.
Ranger Team Echo, this is Ranger Citadel. Come in. Over.
Go ahead.
10-4 Echo 1. It looks like that plague of plant growth might not have been confined to Ag Center after all. I got a call from Marjorie at Stebbins Farm, who said giant vegetables were taking over her fields. Head over there right away. We gotta nip this plague in the bud, so to speak. You copy?
Copy.
10-4 Echo 1. Sending you the coordinates now. Ranger Citadel out.
Right, so we're basically right next to it.
Ranger Team Echo 1, this is Ranger Citadel. Come in. 10-4 Echo 1. Just got a call from the Level Lupe mine. They've got some men trapped in a cave-in and need some help getting dynamite down to the collapse. Apparently, some of the old tunnels are infested with creepy crawlies. Get over there as quick as you can. Don't know how long those men can hold out. Copy?
Copy.
10-4 Echo 1. Sending you...
Right. We need to grab some water. I'm probably going to deal with the infection first, just because if the infection spreads, it's going to be nasty. So we need to get there. We've got the antibiotics to put in the waters, and then we'll go down here. We'll run. Just keep running. Right. Get to the farm. Right. The reason I'm doing this is because we need to keep the contagion under control. If we let it get out of control, it will be really, really.
Charlie 1 to Citadel Base.
Go ahead, Charlie 1. Still on those dealers?
10-4 Citadel Base. Followed them to a trailer park in the middle of nowhere. Looks like a lab.
Copy, Charlie 1. Let me know if you need backup.
Negative. Only a few people. Shit, airplane! Back to the rock! Back to the...
Charlie 1, come in. Charlie 1! Damn it. Citadel Base calling all teams. Anyone in the vicinity of Red Lake Sands. Rangers need assistance ASAP. Charlie 1, this is Citadel Base. If you can hear me, I'm calling for assistance and will send help to you if I find it. Call in when it's safe to do so and advise on your situation. Citadel Base out.
I was going to say we needed to basically. We can't allow the infection to get out of control. If it does, we're in serious trouble. So we have the antibiotics, Accenter serum, right click, removes pod infection, applies verification, heals 5 points of constitution, removes acute pod infection. We need to have these to cure the disease. And if you check our logbook, Meteorological of spreading infection. We found the serum doctor was prepared. It can be used to kill the mutant growth in other locations contaminating with a water fungal infection. We need to wait for... yeah, there we go. So yeah, we basically have to... It's a quest item. We basically have to drop it into water supplies. I think this is a good place to pause right now, just because obviously a lot of stuff's going to happen next episode and we need to clear this up. So I'm going to end the video here. It's a bit sort of unusual, but hey, you had an extra long video yesterday. I've been Cornish-knight. If you have liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. You can follow me on Twitter, on Steam, or leave a comment in the comment section, and I shall get back in contact with you as our merry little band of misfits explore the waste. Goodbye.